The term nation building should be applied to a very deep intervention in a country of the sort that we can do really when we're in control. You go in, you defeat an army, you conquer a country. There is no government except you. Now you have to engage in nation building. The other example would be a place that essentially had no government, like Afghanistan, where in those ungoverned spaces, terrorists can grow and ultimately threaten the United States. So the president makes a decision. This is going to be costly, but it is more costly to leave it alone. The goal of nation building when we do it is, I think, to change significantly another country's political structures. And it requires the ability to make lots of changes. Every piece of the infrastructure, every piece of the economic system, every piece of the political and military system comes under your control. It's a very big task. The question of nation building for the United States is directly tied to the rise of the United States as a world power. It worked pretty well in the cases of both Germany and Japan at the end of World War II. And they very quickly, within about 5 years, became real democracies. In both of those cases, we had a lot to build on. Germany, for example, had been a democracy at the end of World War I. Both countries were very advanced industrially. We weren't creating, we were rebuilding, and that's a lot easier. Korean War starts in 1950, and ultimately we win South Korea. We have had troops in South Korea since 1950, and we kept having to intervene, not militarily, but politically. It's a true democracy now, but for many years it was a military dictatorship. So it really took a long time. In Vietnam, of course, we ultimately failed in nation building. The North Vietnamese took over South Vietnam and established the communist government that is there still. Once we were attacked on September 11th, 2001, we kind of backed into nation building in Afghanistan, and we went in there for one reason. Al-Qaeda was headquartered in Afghanistan, and we were going to go after them. We then went into Iraq in 2003. Most people would say those were two unsuccessful experiments with the nation building. Neither one is now really a democracy. One of the problems we have here is we're Americans. We say, now we have to build a democracy. Why a democracy? Because we're Americans. That's what we believe in. And we kind of edge into this nation building almost without preparing for it. I don't think nation building is a very popular concept in the United States because people think it means very expensive interventions elsewhere, expensive in money, expensive in blood. But there are going to be cases where there's a widespread view that we should intervene. There may be humanitarian cases where a government is so vicious and genocidal that there will be a widespread international view that, look, something has to be done here. One of the things we've learned about nation building from Afghanistan and Iraq is that we may not have the expertise to do it in a number of cases. There are a lot of countries around the world that have the resources to help us do this. One of the difficulties we run into is that it usually follows a military intervention, but it's not primarily a military activity. We haven't quite mastered the segue. There are a lot of negative consequences when we intervene someplace and it doesn't turn out well. The next time we are contemplating doing something, we may say no when the right answer would have been yes. There has been a lot of discussion in the US government about how do we do this better? What kinds of expertise or what kinds of capabilities do we need? So I think this is going to be a perennial question.